With us now, live on set, Fox News contributor Liz Peek and National Review editor-in-chief Rich Lowry. That's Rogan. I just want to note that Kimmel last night, one thing that he did was try to set up Stephen Colbert and say the reason his show was canceled is because of they. Essentially accusing indirectly the Trump administration for forcing CBS to cancel Colbert. So this is they're building a narrative that they're the victims of the Trump administration and a violation of the First Amendment.
Yeah, so what he said a week ago Monday was nobly false, and it wasn't a joke. It was just a statement that was totally wrong, suggesting that Tyler Robinson is MAGA, which over the weekend, when Spencer Cox and others were out there saying he's soaked in left-wing ideology, was nobly false. He shouldn't have said it, and he just should have apologized. What's so hard about apologizing? Now, I think it's great that he hailed Erica Kirk's wonderful speech, but this is a medium that's dying. It's politically monochromatic. If the game were on the up and up, broadcast late night shows, a third would be noticeably progressive, a third would be independent, a third would be conservative. That's not the way it is. They all sound like Jimmy Kimmel, and he had got a bump last night, but his rating is like 1.7 million, a fraction of what Johnny Carson was, and this medium is dying, and he's going to go the same way Stephen Colbert has gone. Now, I don't think Brendan Carr should have stuck his nose in it, because I think he just let nature take its course here.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think Joe Rogan was absolutely right about that. And of course, with the next Democratic administration, that person, whoever it is, will sic their FCC chair on anyone in the conservative movement who is on any medium that the FCC has purview over. So it is very dangerous and very slippery, and I've said that from the beginning. But Joe Rogan also pointed out, rightly so, that Jimmy Kimmel, the new free speech warrior, was the first to come out against Roseanne, was the first to come out against Tucker Carlson, celebrating when they were relieved of their shows. And also, during COVID, he was saying that unvaccinated people should go home and die.
Yeah, I mean, I think Joe Rogan got a couple of things wrong. First of all, to Rich's point, what Kimmel said was factually wrong, and it sounded like it was said to make a political point. It wasn't ours, we didn't have the control over this gun. It was a MAGA guy that did this. That was wrong, and he never really has refuted that. And it almost sounded like Joe Rogan didn't hear that part of the monologue or somehow completely ignored it. The second thing he got wrong is, guess what, folks? The Democrats have already done this. It's not like they're going to do it to the Republicans. They've already done it. We just had hearings about Google basically being told by the Justice Department or by the Biden administration, the White House, to censor Republican voices, dissonant voices on COVID. There's all kinds of things that were suppressing free speech during the Biden administration. For heaven's sakes, they set up that ridiculous Ministry of Disinformation, the most Orwellian thing I've ever heard come out of any White House. So I'm not really very impressed with the idea that let's be careful, but he's right. I mean, he's right in the sense the government shouldn't. I thought Brendan Carr made a mistake, and I think that he should just get hands off. To Rich's point, this is not a medium that's competitive anymore, has not got a big audience. Just let it go away, and it will.
The danger is, though, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, the tech companies that control 90% of the internet, Apple, Google, Amazon, and Meta, that they're not regulated by the FCC, and they're not really regulated by anybody other than the
they're
FTC.
not.
And they're the ones who censored all of us, and really, ultimately, at the direction of the Biden administration, ultimately probably led to the death of people during COVID.
Yeah, so the FCC doesn't have its hooks in these people, but they're susceptible to government pressure anyway. But to your point, broadcast is going to go away, and that's really what the FCC does. So the FCC job's going to go away. If Jimmy Kimmel starts a podcast in his kitchen tomorrow with a microphone, which he eventually will do, FCC has nothing to do with that, and he's free to say whatever he wants without any public interest proviso limiting him.
Yeah, his contract's up next spring, and I have heard that's the end of it.
Yeah, they're going to give him a Harry and Meghan offer if they extend one at all.
Yeah. Is that like a virus?
Yeah, ivermectin won't cure it, oddly enough, though, unfortunately for them.
Harry and Meghan offer, it's like a shot.
It's a lot less money than they got the first time around.
I didn't mean, I digress. You said Harry and Meghan, and anyway.
We just adore them. All right, Liz, so what happens with Nexstar and Sinclair? What's their next move?
Well, I think that's a good question. And what we don't know is whether they are reading their audience. It may be that actually Sinclair is a pretty conservative organization, that they really don't want to carry Jimmy Kimmel. Guess what? That's their right. That's their free speech. That's their decision. Is it because the pressure that's been brought by the White House? I don't know. We don't know. But you know what? It's their business, and if they want not to carry his show, that's their choice.
Great to see both.
None of that is an abridgment of free speech, by the way. The government telling them not to do it, that is an abridgment.
Very important distinction.
Yeah.
Yes, I was so glad to see him back last night. Welcome back, Jimmy.
It's just great to have you, buddy.
We've worked in media a long time, and I just see these like talentless dudes, and they act like,
They're entitled to a talk show.
yes.
Right, in
What
your
about
house.
her? What about her?
I'll take a talk show too.
All right,
if
I'm
one's on
cheering
offer.
for you.
I am serious. They act like there's no one else out there to hire.
Maybe
You're-
Ryan Seacrest. They love him.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, thanks you guys so much.